Hi, this is Sam. It's 2024, June 12th, 5:01 a.m. And I'm going to try to make a video to show the process where we document our efforts in order to work together. The two steps that I'm trying to document and convey are called stand and collaborate. I'm just going to be continuing a process that I decided to video. What I do is I duplicate my prior event. I update to reflect the present standing, which is about 10 minutes post the prior event. It's given the name, it's given the mapping to the time. Time zone is relevant here, but since it's reusing my prior event, it inherits. Normally we have to change it and confirm that the calendar remains the same calendar. Normally we're using events from others. So this is the event, and I'll save it and share it to the group by name. And then since it does land where I expect, I can go back to it, obtain the URL, and share the path. Now anyone can come to the place where I post if they're logging in today or anytime thereafter. That'll bring them to this particular document. It has a event. The event is linked to a document, and the document in this case is an attempt to clean up my desktop. You'll see that I have too many windows open, and in order to just clean up, I don't want to lose the link to those events that I'd already started, so I'm just going to enumerate them and relate to and from. In this case, I've got a few documents that I've opened that are consequential in terms of time relation, so that I go from present to prior to next. That's orient, but then I extend the view so that I can go from day to week and week to month. So in this case, I've opened a sequence of days, and rather than keep them all open, I'm going to start closing them, but relate and link them in a list. And I've been doing this for about 3 or 4 events before I decided I'll document it. That way others could see the process. Every term that we use is manifest in 4 aspects. Those 4 aspects include the word, the name, the symbol, and the type. Our objective is the name. Our focus is bright yellow so that we can identify where we're standing. In this case, identify is explicated over here. We apply names, we define words, we indicate the representation that a symbol holds through its token. So the token is the manifest of that which we see from the outer. The representation, or the symbolic, is the link between the token and its reference. So you have the referrer and the referent. This is symbolized by the letter B, and the action where we stand, that's the verticality, and the object that we stand in relation to. The observer and the observed become one. The letter B is a graphical representation of that message, so that the letters are messages, the words are containers, which are carriers of meaning. The symbol is also a container where you have a token and then the essence of the representation. And I think it's Moshel and Nimshel. So you have the outer view and then the inner essence. And in order to convey this, we're using a molecular diagram. Methane is the molecule. We adhere to the focus as the carbon, the C, where we stand there and we identify, relate, and link the different aspects. And we're dealing presently at the beginning level with 4 aspects, and they're linked and related through a concept called I6WH, and that's the process where we ask or we inquire. That's the I. And then the 6 refers to the 5W, which would be the when, what, where, why, and who. and then the H is how. So these are the 6 paths of inquiry that enable us to know. And what we're getting to know is the distinction between the entity and the event. We look at an event as a happening over time, and for us engaging in the process, it becomes the process where the you, which represents other, allies itself with the event. So the event seeks to ally with the outer in order to create an entity. And our actions will beget the documentation that manifests as an entity. An entity exists as well as a symbol, a word, a name, and a type. As a type, we'll group similar entities, we'll give them name, and the name will be unique with regard to the time. So time ultimately becomes the arbiter of the definition or the defining characteristic that makes a focal point unique. The first entity that we're applying is entity. We establish that an entity exists in our system, and here it's not linked. So what I can do is go to the symbol. Now the symbol that represents an entity is actually an event, and the event is a symbol that represents effort. And effort, while it's symbolized by the event where we created an entity, it's through the process we call document. And then the document manifests as both the action and the object. So the action of documentation results in an entity that is the document we're speaking of.